여자와 담배 피고 차 마실 때 메뉴판이 복잡해서 먹고를 땐 자격세 내고 돈 없을 때 밥 대신에 Rolling. It is rolling. Hi guys, you already know what station you're watching. It's MKJTV with me, Avery. So I'm having a really great conversation about just kind of racial relations across international borders. And so I'm here with... Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Great, and...
Candace.
Hello, Candace. And where are you lovely ladies from?
South Africa.
That's a whole, like, how many hours is that from the U.S., do you know?
From the U.S., I don't know.
It's far, right?
Yeah, it's like 17, 18 hours.
Oh, really?
I thought it's like 22.
Cool.
Really stop over, but yeah. Really stop over.
That's super far. Either way, that's super far. Because we are 17 hours, I think, from the West Coast, so yeah, it's super far. So anywho, we were talking, we shall keep those in question nameless. However, we were talking about some individuals who, when I first met them, I said, oh, hi, nice to meet you, fellow black women, you know, how's it going? And pretty much I was dismissed immediately with the, I am not black, I am from South Africa. So these lovely young ladies here are going to explain to me what happened. And cute.
Okay. Okay, so in South Africa, people who are brown are considered colored people. And in certain parts of South Africa, some people consider themselves colored, and you do not tell them that they are black. They will be very passionate about explaining to you that they are not black, and they are in fact colored. So what you experience is something that's it's something that I've experienced myself. Like, I've seen it happen before. I consider myself black. I don't have a problem with it. But there are people in South Africa, especially brown, with colored people, who are very specific about the fact that they're colored and not black. I think it's just how black is perceived at home. But
so what would be the defining difference? Because I didn't stay long enough for them to explain. I was just like, okay, cheers, whatever. But explain to me, like, what is the difference between a colored person and a black person from the South African standpoint?
You'll generally find that people who are considered black come from a particular tribe, like they're Xhosa or they're Zulu or Sotho or one of those tribes. A colored person, you won't find that they are generally a part of a tribe. If they are part of the tribe, then it means that their mother or their father or their grandmother somehow was a Sotho person or a Xhosa person or a Zulu person, whatever the case may be. But you'll be able to immediately tell by their skin tone. So there are some very dark-skinned colored people, but for the most part, brown people are brown, like a mocha color, yeah. And then you have black people who are black. And also you can tell by the way they speak English, you can tell whether they have an African vernacular. I don't speak any of the African vernaculars. I only speak English, Afrikaans, and a little bit of French. Say that.
And where are your parents from? Your parents are also from South Africa?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah, like the distinguish, like the difference, the stark difference between the two is really just sort of if you know, the tribe you come from, where you, like if you're Xhosa or Zulu or whatever the case may be. But as far as I'm concerned, if you're not white, you're black.
You're black. Okay, cool. And what's your take on it, Magda?
I don't really have a take on it because I'm not
But have you experienced that before? Have you assumed that someone was black and then they corrected you and were like, no, I'm colored?
No, I don't refer to someone like to their skin colors. I don't say, oh, my brain wakkie. Like, yeah, I don't address someone according to the color. Like you said, the black ladies or whatever. So I haven't experienced.
Gotcha.
It's actually very sensitive in South Africa. Like you come to people and you refer to them as black. Like why? What's the issue? Why are you calling me black? Like even if you are black, people like why like you have to point out my skin color, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, everything is just
touchy
become
subject.
Yeah. But I think it's gotten to the point where actually since being in Korea though, I find that there's a lot of people in Korea that are more racially sensitive than I am. Even like more racially sensitive than most other South Africans that I know. And that was like, whoa. There are people that like get even more uptight about it than we do. Because now it just feels like we make a joke out of it, like all the time. If you go to South Africa, most of the jokes that center around politics and race, it's all satire, and we find it hilarious. We love it. So when we make jokes here in South Africa, we actually get into, I mean not in South Africa, in Korea, we actually get into a lot of trouble. People actually end up calling us racist because we make a joke about it.
Look who just walked in, guys. Hi, Opa. Have a seat. I'm doing an interview. Actually, I'm gonna slide over. You can sit here. I should probably. So, and cue. So we left off when we were talking about, yes, the satire that you guys think is hilarious, and other people are like, oh, you're racist. Who is calling you racist?
They don't know that it's satire. Because our background is that it's satire for us. The way we say it, what we say about it, it's satire for us. But they don't know, like, yeah, they don't know our history. They don't know the way we've had to deal with things. So,
right. Because apartheid is like yesterday for you guys. Like, it's not been that long.
Yeah.
So do you feel like humor has been a way for you guys to like unify and come together?
Absolutely.
The beauty of humor.
But
awesome.
yeah, we get ourselves into trouble, so we tend to not talk about racist issues here, and not to single out the American populace, but it's mostly American people that we end up having issues with, because we will make a joke about it and then somebody like, that's not actually funny. Yeah. Like it actually is. Like it's just no. So
I think some people take it too serious. Like you don't take the racial thing too serious anymore. Like the boundaries are it's like open.
With our generation, I think. Obviously with the older generation you're gonna find people who are still a little stuck in their ways. But for the most part I think most of the people that I've met here, like all of the South Africans that I've met here they don't like, it's not a colours really that big of an issue. But it's an issue in the sense that we can talk about it, I know that you're white, I know that I'm black, you know, we can talk about it in that sense, but there's no there's no malice.
With a more open mind.
Yeah. But we tend to keep those conversations away, not in the company of American people.
And I think a part of that is the difference in history. Like, for you, as you explained, you have brown or colored people, and then you have black Africans, and then you have white Africans, and then you have, which is different from Afrikaans, right? There's a different group of people.
White Africans?
Yeah, like white people who aren't Afrikaans.
English white people.
Right, there you go. So you have these different groups, right? And you guys have worked together around your own history, but in America there isn't that. It's just
either black or white.
Right, and it's the racial relations are so extreme and so embedded, not just in history, but within just societal functioning, from getting a job to having equal education to being denied services at the bank, even though it's your account and you're proving that this is you. It's like you have to go through an extra 30 minutes before you can get access to your own money just because of the color of your skin. So I think the sensitivity is based on like the experience is different. We haven't got to that humor, oh, let's all love each other and laugh about it. We haven't got there yet.
Look, if you go home, if you go to South Africa now, and obviously if somebody can tell that you're being racist, like it's you can feel that kind of thing. They will get up in arms about it. And then it also just depends on the type of person you are. If you're the type of person to take it seriously all the time, then this is obviously, it's not gonna, humor is not gonna take away, you know, the pain from racism. But we have the same thing. Like, we've got the affirmative action issue, you know, we've got the affirmative action as well. We've got, you know, there are situations where they have to favor black people over white people, supposedly to redress the injustices of the past. But I don't know. I think, like, with certain individuals or people in our society, like with the what is the groot koerant, not Sunday Times, the one with Zapiro in it. This very huge national newspaper, Die Bill. One of the cartoonists, his name is Zapiro. Whenever something political happens or something like stupidly racist happens in South Africa, it's always on some people's lips. And Zapiro will always come out with a cartoon that is hilariously funny, but captures the satirical value in what has happened. And we love Zapiro for it because it immediately diffuses the situation. Same with Trevor Noah and like all of the comedians in South Africa. Even Trevor Noah saying in one of his sets that it's none of his jokes. Like, it's seriously, like, it's the politicians that give him all his material. It's like if the politicians stopped acting the way they were, he'd be out of work. So it's, I don't know, I guess it's just the way you look at it. It also depends the type of person you are.
Any sentiments?
What sentiments?
Any thoughts? Like, what do you think about the conversation we're having?
Frankly speaking, her pronunciation is unique. That's what I thought about.
Nice. I love it. That's so funny. That's so funny. It's funny that we're having this conversation because I just read an article in Ebony magazine, which I don't know if you guys are familiar. So there was an article that one of the main editors, her white friend, put on her Facebook, "Oh, I think you're too overly sensitive as a black woman. Like, you should just kind of basically suck it up and deal with the fact that that's the way life is, pretty much." And then so she's listing these questions that she asked her, like, have you ever experienced this? Have you ever experienced this? Have you ever? This is every day for us, all day, every day. So yeah, I'm a little sensitive, and my take on it was, I think that whoever you are, whether you're white, whether you're black, whether you're Native American, I think our perceptions on life are based on our personal experiences. And although someone may have a different perception or not agree with your reactional behaviors, at the end of the day, you have to remain true to yourself and true to what, okay, this is a line for me. You know, like, for example, if someone has been, you know, thanks. Always do that. So, for example, if someone's been robbed in the street at gunpoint, right? They're gonna forever remember that. And if I make a joke, hey, stick 'em up, they're gonna be like, oh my God, I can't believe. They're gonna freak out because that's their experience. And who am I to say, you're overreacting, it was a fake gun, it was my 2 fingers, obviously. But to them, that is a very real thing that they've had to deal with. So I think that when anybody of any group says to another person, oh, you're overreacting, you're being overly sensitive, I think that's not really their right. Just like, who am I to say, hey, you white person, you should be more cognizant of your white privilege. Like, they live with it their whole life. They don't even realize that the other delicious. We're having Indian, by the way. We're in Daegu.
Biryani.
It's called what?
Mutton biryani.
Right. So they're the experts apparently. Do you guys have a lot of Indian restaurants in South Africa?
We have like a unique Indian culture.
Ah, see, I didn't know that.
Specific, also, like, especially in Cape Town, the Cape Malay people. Actually, colored people are said to come from the Cape Malay people. They are mostly Muslim people.
even that's so funny. Even the word colored, like in the States, has a totally different meaning than what you described. Yeah, colored it means black, but it is a really derogatory term that white people in the South use.
That makes a lot of sense now.
So,
like certain reactions.
So there was slavery, right? And then you had the Civil War, and they freed the slaves. But then after that, we were more like freed animals, pretty much. Like, you're free, but you're still not a human, so we're not going to treat you as such. And in fact, we're going to pass these laws called Jim Crow laws that said, okay, like, let's say this is a water fountain, right? So this is whites only, colored. So it was only like the dirtiest, is always the worst of everything is for the colored. So when a white person says, hey colored, get over here, or hey negroid, it's definitely with a negative connotation. So even to this day, if a white person like comes to you in the States and is like, hey colored boy, it's like, okay, really, we're gonna do this right now? Like, it is not a positive term at all. So yeah, so when you say colored, I have to.
Yeah, that makes sense now. Like with the way some people have reacted to the word, because they're always slightly uncomfortable when I would refer to myself as a colored person.
Right, even me, I'm like, but she's okay with it, so I'm gonna flow with it. All right.
I actually remember again Trevor Noah, the comedian in South Africa. He's actually in the States now. He said he went to London to do one of his sets, and he was sitting after one of his sets, and he was speaking to some Londoner that was there, and he was asking him, where you from, and your accent's different and whatever. And so the guy asked him, like, are you Zulu or Xhosa or something? So he said, no, I'm colored. and the guy from London actually was like, no, you're free here, bro. And only now do I understand that, because I was like, what is he talking about?
Well, see, in London, unless the person was American, I think it's still different there too, because like a lot of, and this is not all, but a lot of disclaimer, a lot of Londoners that are black are actually, they can trace their heritage. They're direct descendants of like a tribe in Africa, like they're Nigerian, or they're Moroccan, or whatever, or Jamaican. So even there, like, they have a different understanding of what it means to be black in America. So, because, like, for example, my very close Korean friend, we were having dinner, and she was like, oh, I'm so, like, excited that I know you. I mean, you really changed my perception of colored people. And I was like, what? What did you just say? And she was so serious. She was like, yeah, I just didn't expect you went to college, and I don't know how you made it to college. You were so articulate. I just didn't know colors could be like that. And she kept saying the term colors, and like the whole time I was like, inside. And I was like, okay, let me explain. Just in case you go abroad, do not say that again, ever, to any black person you ever meet. I appreciate the compliment, but don't say that. So it definitely is different. But then she explained that her textbook said that black people who have African descent in America are referred to as colored. I was like, dude, your textbook is like super out of date, like 1960 out of date. Like, we definitely don't say colored at all, ever. You say black, Afro-American, African-American. I prefer black American myself, but yeah, just not colored, or nigger, or coon, or any of those negatives. That's all in the same
I find a lot of American people still use the term though, nigger.